Elimination for our second day. We're going to introduce a few new things to our elimination technique. So let's go back through our steps to solve a system by elimination. So step number one is we want to make sure that all of our like terms are lined up. So we're going to align like terms. That means that our two equations are going to have to be in the exact same order on top and bottom. That order doesn't need to be a specific order. It just means that if I have x first, those x's better be next. It could be the equal signs next, then the y's, then the numbers, or any order they're in like this. They just have to be lined up over their counterparts. Most of the time we use elimination when they're in standard form. Step number two, we're going to find, and then an addition to this step from last class, or make equal coefficients. So once we have it lined up, and we're going to look and go, all right, is this the same number in front of x? Is it the same number in front of y? If it isn't, we're going to make one of them equal. 3, we're then going to add or subtract the equations together, all in an effort to get one of the variables to disappear. Once we've done that, what remains, we're going to solve. And then step number 5, we're going to plug in and solve again. All right, so let's take a look at a problem that we looked at last time. Step number 1, so over here I'm just going to put a little counter for our steps. Step 1, make sure everything's lined up. X, X, Y, Y, equals, number, perfect. So step 2, find or create equal coefficients. And so what we see here is that both of the y's are talking about the number 6. We're not too particularly worried about it being a positive or a negative. We're just worried about it being 6. So step 2, done. So step 3, we're going to either add or subtract these two equations together because we need this to become 0y. Because they're different, we're going to put a big plus sign right here. -6 plus 6 gives us 0. We're going to do the same thing for the rest of the problem. So -6 plus 9 is -6 plus 9 is 3x. 12 plus -18 gives us -6. So what we have left over is 3x equals -6. Step 4, we solve this. And there is half of our answer. Step number 5 says we're going to plug this number in and solve again. We can plug it into any equation that's in the problem. So we're going to take that bottom equation. I'm going to plug in -2 for x. And now we're going to solve again. So I'm going to add 18. 6y equals 0. Divide by 6. And y is 0. The addition that we're going to do today is what happens if we don't have equal coefficients. So take this problem for example. Everything's lined up, but we don't have equal coefficients. We're going to make either the x or the y's say the same number. So what I like to do is look at the 5 and the 9. first number that I could think of that 5 and 9 both go into, 45. First number that 1 and 2 both go into is 2. So our choice is to either make the x's say 45 or have the y's say 2. We want to pick what looks to be easier. So we're going to make both of these y's be 2's. We make this one become a 2 by multiplying by 2, but anything we do to one part of an equation, we have to do to everybody. So 2 times 5 gives us 10x. 2 times 1 gives us 2y. 2 times negative 2 gives us negative 4. We now have an equation that says 2y. Our second equation, we don't have to do anything to it. It already says 2y. So step number 1, was it lined up? Yes. Step number 2, we didn't have equal coefficients. We made equal coefficients. We made this problem say the same thing. Because these signs are different, we're going to add. 10 plus negative 9 is 1x. 2 plus negative 2, that's 0y. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. And all like that, our answer is negative 2 for x. That was step number 3 and step number 4. 3 was the adding, 4 was the solving. 5, we're going to plug it back in. So I'm going to choose that top equation, 5x plus y equals negative 2. I'm not going to get confused that I have that 2 right there. I plug in negative 2 for x. I get negative 10 plus y equals negative 2. So y equals 8. Let's look at 2 more examples. So I look at this one. I don't have equal coefficients, so I can either make the x's become 5's or I can make the y's become 10's. It does not matter which one you choose. Pick the one that you think is going to be the easiest. So if you think that you want to get the x's to be the same, that top equation you're not going to multiply, but you're going to multiply the bottom equation by 5. Maybe you think that the y's are going to be easier. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the bottom equation by 2. Excuse me. And once you've done that, you're going to solve whichever system we chose. Let's go with the y's. We did the x's last time, or I think we did the y's last time, but I think this 2 is actually going to be the easiest. So I multiply the 2, so my top equation is still negative 5x plus 10y equals 5. Bottom equation says negative 2x plus 10y equals negative 10. So here are my equal coefficients. They're the same sign, so we're going to subtract. Negative 5 minus negative 2 is actually negative 3x. It does help if you write that out so you can see what you're saying. So negative 5 minus the negative 2. Those two negatives become a big old plus sign. We have our negative 3x. We then take 5 minus negative 10, and that gives us 15. Again, 5 minus negative 10. We solve. and x is -5. We're now going to pick one of our equations. Doesn't matter which one we pick. I'm going to pick this bottom one right here. And so I'm going to do -x plus 5y equals -5. I'm going to plug in a -5 in for x. So a -5 is positive. Subtract 5 from both sides. And y is -2. All right, last example for our video here today. Let's pick this one. This one's good. We want to make our equal coefficients. So either we can make the x's 3's or we can make the y's 6's. 3 is the easiest. All we have to do is multiply the bottom equation by 3 to make it happen. The top equation stays 3x minus 2y equals 13. The bottom equation becomes 3x minus 9y equals 27. So we're going to decide if we're going to add or subtract, all based on those terms right there. Because they're the same, we're going to subtract. 3 minus 3, 0x, that's what we need. -2 minus -9, positive 7y. 13 minus 27, it's a -14. We divide by 7, and y is -2. We're going to plug that into one of our equations. I'm going to pick the bottom equation here, this one. I'm going to plug in -2 for y. Subtract 6, and x is 3. And that's solving systems with elimination using multiplication.